Okay, we're here. We've not gone anywhere. It's still the morning crossfire right here on 99.3 Nigerian FM. Kofi Bartels. I'm not alone this morning. 8 o'clock or 5 past 8 usually time for our major conversations. And of course, like I said earlier, we have a conversation this morning on the 2026 budget proposal, which was presented by President Bola Tinubu to the National Assembly. And of course, a joint sitting of the National Assembly. The senators and House of Representatives members, or reps, let's call them that, will spend time pouring through each page of this proposal, this document. It's a proposal. And of course, they will decide on whether they want to pass it, make amendments, etc. To the budget. Well, to give us his take on some key aspects of the 2026 budget proposal as presented by Mr. President is none other than financial analyst Mr. Kalu Aja. Good morning to you, sir. And it's been some time. It's good to have you on the program.
Again.
Okay. Do I say Dr. Kalu Aja?
Kalu is fine, Bartel. Come on, man.
I was just writing.
There's a tax for doctors, so we want to stay on the radar.
Really?
The doctor tax is in the act.
Oh wow! Oh yeah, right. So let's keep it simple then.
There we go.
All right, you've been having a lot to say about the tax laws, which are coming into effect in a few days from now. Before we get straight into the budget, I want you to just give me your overview of Nigeria's new tax laws and basically what do you expect to see happen in 2026?
Yeah, so overall, it's a welcome reform. It sort of modernizes what we've had in the past. It gives a huge allowances. I think I saw infographic about 30 or 40 allowances that's going to go to the lower income folks. I mean, if your company earns less than 100 million in turnover, no taxes. You earn less than 800,000, no taxes. Lots of new stuff there. To modernize, make it a bit simpler, for the quote-unquote common man. It will generate a lot of revenues for the federal government because they are going to basically now go after the oil companies, the large conglomerates, that they will now go after them and should be able to raise a lot of our funds there. So it's a very, very progressive tax. A lot of controversy around it, but I think net benefit to Nigeria is going to be positive in terms of revenues that are going to be raised.
All right. Okay. So it's going to be positive. But you've had some strong words for it. Are you trying to be diplomatic?
No, the way I fault them is just the communication has been poor. If I may use that word, they could have maybe explained this a lot better. I think at a certain point they used political guys to try to explain a tax bill, which is a no-no, because once you use the same folks that are saying Tinubu is the best president to say pay taxes, people correlate those two and think that it's a political thing to raise taxes or to modernize taxes. So that was a mistake on their part. And again, if you want to get technical, right, in the past we got a 20% tax break across the board. So once you're Nigerian, you get 20% tax break across the board. This new tax regime takes that 20% away, and you have to then go buy your tax breaks. So there's no automatic tax break for you. If you don't go out and buy maybe your retirement savings account or life insurance, you don't get a tax break. It's more like the American system. So that might be a criticism, but it's also pushing you to go invest. If you don't do that, your taxes are going to really go up. So there are a few nuts and bolts here. Like I said, net, it's positive. There are a few things I disagree with them, but I would say overall, it's best to have this than to have what we have currently.
Okay, all right. It's better than what we have currently. So, Kawaja, let's go straight to the 2026 budget proposal as given by Mr. President. Of course, I've seen your tweets about the expenditure, the revenue, and then the debt servicing. Just give us your overall assessment of the proposal or the presented by the president, basically.
Yeah, so this new 2026 budget follows the same template that we've had since 2023. There's a lot of revenues that are going to be generated, but a lot of expenditures, huge deficit that's then created that needs to be financed by huge borrowings. That's just the template that we're following. The 2026 budget, the deficit alone is about 23 trillion. To put it in perspective for you, in 2022 or 2023, that was the total amount we spent on expenditures. So just think about that. What we are spending today, or what we're going to generate today as a deficit, because we don't make enough revenues, is the total amount that we spent in 2023. So one word that comes to mind is there's just too much spending.
Could you please repeat? Could you please repeat that line?
Yeah. The total deficit in 2026, about 23 trillion, is equal to the total amount Nigeria spent in 2023. The expenditure number in 2023 is about 23. Total deficit is about 23, 2026. So essentially, we've spent so much that the deficit that has now been generated in 2026 is equal to the total spend that we did in 2023. If you just put that out there, that tells you the level of spending that we're doing. And if you want to go deeper into it, right, what we are doing is that we are posting very, very optimistic revenue numbers. And then we take those revenue numbers and say, based on these revenues we're going to generate, we're going to go borrow, because we will use the revenues to pay down the debt. But what then happens that those revenues do not materialize and we have already borrowed. So the debt service goes up to service that borrowing. So the last report I saw, the one that was released for 2025, the medium-term financial framework, our debt service is about 74%. 74
of the entire budget.
Of the entire revenue,
sorry.
In 25, yeah, 74%.
Is that not better than where we were in maybe say 2022 under Buhari, where the debt servicing gulped the entire revenue from crude oil?
That is correct, but Buhari was paying subsidy. We've removed subsidy, so that's been a revenue event.
Okay.
Revenues have more than doubled.
All right.
But yet the debt to the revenues to the debt servicing has just gone to 74%. That's a crazy number if you think about it. So I can give you numbers, right? Look at 2024. The total capital expenditure was 13 trillion. What we are looking at, we're going to spend for capital 13 trillion. Just follow these numbers.
2024.
For the cash, 13 trillion. 2024, 13 trillion. What we released as cash was 6 trillion. 6. So we did a budget of 13, we released 6. But look at the crazy thing here. We borrowed 12. So if we borrowed 12, why did we only give capital guys 6? Where did the other funds go to? We use that to pay salaries, to do debt servicing. So we are borrowing to service debt. These are federal government numbers for 2024, and that's the problem. It's not it was just too much spending, and the deficit is created by not the revenues. We make enough revenues. So Buhari gave Tinubu 7 trillion revenues in 2022. Tinubu today is making about 20 trillion in revenues. The problem is the spending. Buhari also left Tinubu with 6.9 trillion spending. Tinubu in 2024 is spending about 34 trillion. So it's the quadrupling of the spending. People say, well, dollar has gone up. Yeah, that's revenues and expenditures, both sides. It balances out. So there's just too much spending on projects that look good and would help the GDP, but we can't afford it, I want a Rolls Royce today and a private jet, but you can't afford it. If you go borrow to buy a private jet, you're going to have to stake all your revenues to pay.
This jump in spend, in expenditure, in 24 months, from 2023 to 2025, could it also be down to the depreciation of the naira, or should I call it call it deep revaluation, though it wasn't officially devalued, but
it could be. But like I said, that also means that when you sold your crude oil, you got more report. You see a line that says exchange gain. So you also you spend more to buy goods that are now could have depreciated naira, but you make more money when you sell crude oil. So it evens out. It's just too much spending, Kofi. There's no way around it. It's just too much spending.
Okay, but are we spending this money on salaries, recurrent expenditure? So
I just gave you the numbers. Gave you the numbers.
Yes,
13 trillion
yeah.
For capex, only 6 trillion released. 2024. We have no 2025 numbers, none whatsoever. Apart from what we got under the MTFF, we have no other numbers that we can use.
Okay, but I mean, is it a bad thing to spend on recurrent expenditure? You're paying salaries and all that. What alternatives are there?
Well, salary is actually stimulative. If you go to some instances, you can say, if I pay you a salary like during COVID, it stimulates the economy. The problem is, how are you funding those salaries, right? If you borrow money to then pay salaries, you are creating that hole for yourself in the future. We should fund these stimulus programs with our savings, right? We have sufficient savings in subsidy removals, even the removal of the peg of the devaluation. But we are borrowing. I'll give you a good example. We are borrowing in dollars to pay quote unquote poor people welfare in naira. That's not going to be paid back. That's a welfare check. So we're not going to get the revenues from those poor people. But we borrowed in dollars to fund that. Now we're going to have to get oil money somewhere.
That's the World Bank program.
Correct. Pay back that loan. So it's not the borrowing, it's how we're borrowing, what we're borrowing for, and all that. There are many ways we could have stimulated the economy with naira, or with reduction of the government revenues. What I mean is this: if you come to Nigeria and say, don't pay any VAT anymore, the government is going to lose revenues. That's also spending, but it's not printing naira. It's not basically adding to the deficit. It's going to be a reduction in government revenues. So the government wants to keep its revenues, eat its cake and have it. So it will say, hey, we're going to spend to give you money to buy rice for you. But that is all borrowed money. That's why we have this high debt servicing, and of course, a high deficit that is then created. All right. We have to borrow to sustain.
Can you please help our listeners understand what debt servicing is? Because sometimes one may be tempted to think that you are paying back the debt.
Well, when you borrow, right, you have to pay the interest, then you pay the principal. So if you borrow, say, 1,000 naira and you pay 10%, you're going to pay that 100 naira, maybe for the 5 years of the loan tenure. That 100 naira is the debt servicing. You are paying back the interest portion. At the very, very end, you then pay back the 1,000 that you borrowed the principal back. So the debt servicing, because we are borrowing Eurobonds, that's in dollars, right? Our Eurobonds are about 35% of our total borrowings. That's the problem with Nigeria's borrowings. We can't print dollars. We've got to earn dollars to pay back Eurobonds. So when oil prices, again, we'll go back to the budget, in 2025, we're going to sell oil at $75 a barrel, and we're going to sell 2 million barrels a day. Based on 75 and 2 million, we went to town and borrowed. In reality, oil prices are now at about 60, 62. Oil output is about 1.4, 1.5. That huge gap there means no dollars flowing in. We've already borrowed from Eurobonds. So now we've got to then do something about that. So we sell the small oil that we have, we service the debt. So it gobs about the 74% of our revenue, because we're not making enough dollar revenue.
Just paying interest on the loans we've taken. That includes probably even loans to build or to renovate the Port Harcourt and Warri refineries, the Kaduna refineries.
I mean, it's guys, if you want to go there, we're going to cry, because then you see the NNPC is front loading its. If NNPC will say, listen, borrow us funds today and we'll give you oil for the next 10 or 5 years. So that oil that's been sold, we've taken the monies ahead of time at the price ahead of time. If oil prices crash, then NNPC is going to be in the red, because then they have to deliver that oil irrespective of the price. So lots of obligations on balance sheet, off balance sheet for Nigeria, and they need revenues. And it's not just, they're getting the revenues again, you see. Again, Buhari led Tinubu in 2022, 7 trillion revenues. Today, Tinubu is doing 20 trillion. So he's getting the revenues. The problem is the spending. Buhari led Tinubu 6.9 trillion spent in 2022. Today, Tinubu is spending 34. 34 trillion is as at 2024, not 25, 2024.
But
34 trillion.
Yeah, but Kalu, some economists, say that no economy can. There's nothing wrong in borrowing, but you just have to keep it within the acceptable level. So we hear things like debt to GDP ratio, and other kinds of ratios. Just keep it below a certain percentage, and you'll be fine. So just so that you can stimulate the economy, and it could be argued that the most of these borrowings have also been to strengthen the naira and ensure that you have liquidity as far as FX is concerned. So is that not something we can look at to say, okay, we give the government some benefit of doubt?
Yeah, well, there's nothing wrong with in debt, deficits, or borrowing. Nothing at all. As a matter of fact, if Nigeria can find a place to borrow $1 trillion, go borrow it and build infrastructure. That's not the problem. The problem is where these borrowed funds are going to. Go back to the data point I gave you. 2024, we had a capital expenditure of 13 trillion. We only released 6 trillion and we borrowed 12 trillion. So that 12 trillion we borrowed, if we use that whole 12 trillion to pay our capital expenditures of 13 trillion, we'll be fine. Nobody will complain because you see trains, you see roads, you see ports. So people say, well, this port will then improve productivity and drive consumption and then pays back the deficit. But when you borrow to consume, there's no payback to then pay that future obligation you have created. So essentially, you're going to this debt trap where you are borrowing today to pay back tomorrow, and then tomorrow you borrow to pay back the next day, on and on and on. And you find yourself back in Nigeria in 1999, where we then had to do a debt buyback to buy back all our debts. Debt is, everyone borrows. If you want to buy a house, you do a mortgage. That's borrowing. But you live in the house, right? And then you pay back that loan over 30 years. You don't borrow money to go on a holiday or to go watch Arsenal. That's not going to pay you back.
I mean, we've come a very, very long way from Obasanjo's what now seems like heroic accomplishments of paying Nigeria's debts off. And this is where we are today, where from Obasanjo's time to now, we're using 74%, like you said, of our revenue, annual revenue, to service debts, not even to pay the debt, to service it. How did we get here, and did we need to be here?
Yeah, it's if you remember, there's a time the president said he wants to borrow foreign debt because it's quote unquote cheaper. If you have to go back to Kemi, the former Minister of Finance, there was this thinking she had back then that if you borrowed internationally, because it was in dollars at single digit, it was cheaper than borrowing double digits in naira. That was her thinking. So we moved away from financing deficits in naira. We started to go and finance deficits in dollars. That was all fine until we then had the explosion of interest rates when we had Biden as the president. That sort of doubled the cost of the loans that Nigeria was carrying. Again, the cost is not just the interest, it's the exchange rate risk. You have to then go back from dollars to naira or go from naira to dollars. We didn't factor that in. So that was the base of where we are right now. Even President Tinubu has said he's not going to borrow locally or foreign anymore. He wants to borrow. He's not going to borrow locally anymore. He wants to go foreign. So again, we've changed that tack. The point is you can't print dollars. And if you borrow in dollars, you've got to earn that dollars back. And for every dollar we earn, lots of people want that dollar. Debt wants it. Oil companies want it. Infrastructure wants it. Defense wants it. So lots of people are pulling, and they're all important to Nigeria. So it's been that's why we have the deficit hole that we you heard the Minister of Finance talking about, that we just have this huge hole in the budget. Quoting non-oil is insignificant. We don't get anything from that. So really, Nigeria is a mono economy. From 1960 to today, we have failed to diversify the earning. That's the revenues, not the economy. The economy is diversified, but the revenues are still mono tied to oil. About 81% comes from oil.
Okay,
that's a big problem.
All right. Yesterday was in the papers. World Bank has approved a fresh $500 million loan for Nigeria.
Saw that.
Yeah. So I don't know. We keep hearing these stories. We only hear of them. We read of it. We announce it to the people. We put it on our news bulletins that they're going for more loans. And I don't know if there's any mechanism to assess do a needs assessment before even getting into such death traps. Fin Plan Kalu is with us. We'll be right back after this commercial. We'll throw the lines open and then we'll take your thoughts on Nigeria's 2026 budget proposal. I feel deflated, we were hearing the analysis.
Oh, no.
Yes, we'll be right back.
More news and information coming up. We'll be back in a moment.
Update. Here's the gist. New Good Mama detergent delivers express cleaning and fragrance boosters for extra freshness. All in a freshening pack made for your upgrade. Try it today. There's a reason she's a good mama. Express cleaning, extra fresh.
Dirty December Fest is more than a festival. It's a cultural takeover from December 7th to 31st. Get ready for world-class music, spectacular productions, and the most unforgettable experiences. It all kicks off with a Dirty December Fest grand opening aerial and cinematic live concerts on December 7th. Juma Jux December 18th. Buster Rhymes December 19th. Plus Afro Vibes Fest, Gen Z Republic, Dirty Food Village, Xmas Grotto, Dirty Pop-Up, and glide through the season on Lagos's coolest skating rink. And that's just the beginning. Check the full calendar for more at dirtydeckfest.com. That's dirtydeckfest.com. Venue, Iluberin, doors open at 3 p.m. Dirty December Fest is produced by LifeSpot 360 and supported by Pepsi.
Mom, let's celebrate Christmas at its peak. I want Christmas lights so bright they could see it in space. Wow! I want a Christmas tree so tall players would have to watch out.
Think bigger!
Like what?
Pancakes stacked to the ceiling, delicious eggs, and a peak milk smoothie.
Just for me. Now that's Christmas at its peak.
Because truly, a peak Christmas is Christmas with Peak. Peak. Reach for your peak.
Update. Here's the gist. New Good Mama detergent delivers express cleaning and fragrance boosters for extra freshness. All in a freshening pack made for your upgrade. Try it today. There's a reason she's a good mama. Express cleaning, extra fresh.
It's the season when we come together to share intimacy with family and friends. So let the music play from the kitchen to the dining room. Share intimacy with everyone. Season to show some love. Show some love. It's the season to spread love. We're season to show some love. Show some love. Show some love. It's a season to spread love. We're season to show some love.
Coming from a stunning show of Kashimawo in London, the Duke of Shomolu presents two of this year's most exciting stage plays: Asaba, The People, Our People, and Obey, the Musical. Venues: the iconic Ajip Recital Hall of the Muson Center, Lagos. Date is the 23rd, 24th, 25th, and 26th of December. Come and witness the emotionally charged Asaba, a story of strength in tribulation with a slight dose of romance. Then join the Duke as he celebrates Juju Maestro, Chief Commander Ebenezer Obey, in this year's most exhilarating musical, Obey. Tickets for Obey are regular 10K and VIP 25K. Asaba is free. Ticket purchase and free attendance. Registration link for Obey is whatadeal.events. Showtimes are 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. both plays. Executive producers Yemi Shodimo and Mufoluake Edgar. Sponsors: First Bank Nigeria, The Place Restaurant, Friendly, Unified Payments, Etihad Leasing, Anco Insurance, and Rain Oil. For inquiries, call Joy on 0812-960-1500. The Duke of Shomolu. Crazy?
Over on the 12th day of Christmas, my Maggie gave to me 12 slices suya, 11 orishi, 10 wraps of moi moi, 9 efodiro, 8 plates of nkwabi, 7 pepper soup, 6 season snails, 5 fried fish, 4 cocoa bangus, 3 pasi jollof, 2 giz dodo, and fufu with egusi. Have a delicious holiday season with Maggie. Me and Maggie, so good together. Me and Maggie, so good together.
Hey, yeah. Now Orabi, with Orabi, but it's strong, my multi fresh. It clean well, oh, now Orabi. Strong teeth Orabi, fresh bread Orabi, 24/7 with Orabi. Strong teeth Orabi.
Yes, so get your own Orabi 130 grams pack now for 1,500 naira. Now Nigerian Dental Association self deal with Orabi.
Wonder is not in the wrapping paper. It's in the reaction.
You got this for me.
Oh, you remembered me this year.
Mommy, see my own hamper.
This season, Spar Market fills your list with gifts that create those moments. Ready-made and custom hampers, Spar gift cards from just 10,000 naira, and amazing discounts of up to 30% off on groceries, wine and spirits, electronics, perfumes, and more. Visit any Spar Market store nationwide from December 12th to January 1 to enjoy incredible Christmas offers. One store, so much wonder. Terms and conditions apply. Spar Market, there for you.
Take your house with Christmas greetings. Jesus seasons to build and love. Take advantage, pay installments. 50% discount offer.
Celebration is in the air. It's the Lemon Friday Christmas promo. Bask in joy this season with Adrian Homes and enjoy discounts running up to 40%. Did I hear goodie bag? A 36-month payment spread plus instrumental payment plan on initial deposit with categories starting from 300,000 naira up to 3.5 million naira. Subscribers also get gifts such as a big cow, bag of rice, mini home theater, double-door fridge, and lots more. It's time to mingle with the Christmas jingle. Reach out to us today on 0806 646 4151 or 0810-332-1298. Terms and conditions apply.
Freebies waiting.
This taste na banger, this taste na creamy rich, this taste na new Nescafe, original 3-in-1. Thickness, enjoyment, yumminess, happiness, delightfulness, deliciousness, smoothness. This taste na new Nescafe, original 3-in-1.
Enjoy more creamy richness with the new Nescafe Original 3-in-1 in the new pack. That's strong, finish strong.
Guy, I'm in premium tears. My guy sent me pounds from the UK since Tuesday, and the money is nowhere to be found. And to make it worse, he was charged over there, and I will still get charged here.
So you're still using Trial and Error Express to collect money in 2025? Bro, UBA is the way. No charges to receive. Just drop your UBA account like Mike and get your payment sharp.
I messed up big time. My guy Kalu will send me something this week. I will just UBA it straight.
With UBA, receiving money from anywhere in the world is fast, simple, and absolutely stress-free. You get your funds instantly, direct to your account or at any UBA branch near you. No charges to the receiver.
UBA, Africa's Global Bank. Whether you're chilling with your friends, in town with your clique, watching a movie with your bestie, turning up at parties for the jollof, or just chilling at home by yourself, reach for a refreshing bottle of Razzle. Razzle your world and express yourself with the new and exciting flavors of Razzle. Cola, orange, and lemon. Razzle your world.
No matter where you are, city or out of town, you deserve a great reliable connection. The Airtel 5G Smart Connect not only delivers that, but also gives you unlimited data to stream, download, and browse in your home or office. It also comes with wider coverage and super fast speed, all for just 25,000 naira. Visit the nearest Airtel shop to start enjoying unlimited data now. Airtel.
From breaking headlines to the conversations around it, this is
99.3.
Why is it that the terrorists are killing us over 14 years? They will not sweep to action.
Because you would think if there was a government in this state, in this area, there is an expected disposition.
Security is everybody's duty. Where I'm staying, I've never even seen a policeman.
BFCC detains ex-AGF Bellamy.
I want governor wants to come from one party to the other. That's all they focus on.
Imagine it was PDP that is rolling over state before budget. What the APC could have done in the media. I cannot waste my time to go to the polling booth to vote again anymore. It is over.
Stay informed, stay aware, join the conversation. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
This is Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Welcome back. Still the Morning Crossfire 99.3 Nigeria Info. I'm Kofi Bartels. So many thanks for your time. If you're still there, we have a few 20 minutes to go. We still have our guest with us, Kalu, who is a financial analyst. Is much more than that, but I'm sure he just prefer to keep it as simple as that. He joins us live from his base somewhere on the face of the earth, and of course giving us his time despite the time difference. So of course we've been talking about the 2026 budget proposal as presented by the Nigerian president Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and Nigerians have been reacting to that proposal. Here's a breakdown. The total size of the budget, 58.18 trillion naira. 58.18 trillion naira. And of course, a projected deficit, 23.85 trillion naira. All right, 23.85 trillion naira. That is about 4.28% of Nigeria's GDP. You have a revenue target of 34.33 trillion naira. A revenue target of 34.33 trillion naira, which means Nigeria plans to borrow or finance nearly 40% of this budget. Okay, so of course our guest has been telling us, giving us his analysis of the budget, but also talking about the spending, the debt, and the revenue, which are the components of any national budget. Kalu, before we may not even have time to do a sector by sector analysis of the budget, but talking about debt and spending, some people say, for instance, that the countries for developing economies, let's start with that, they can keep debt at 60% of their GDP, while for developing economies, they can keep their national debt 40% or below of their GDP, so their debt to GDP ratio. Does it therefore follow that Nigeria is at a healthy level and we can keep borrowing as long as we don't hit 40% of the country's GDP?
Yeah, of course not. GDP does not repay debt. Revenues repay debt. So what you want to look out for is the revenues to debt, not GDP to debt. I don't know where they got that GDP to debt numbers. That's the global guys. You borrow, you repay. GDP generates output. So you can say, well, if we have output, we should generate tax incomes, we then pay back the debt. That's for advanced countries, like where there's the taxation is tied to the output of the economy. In Nigeria, there's no pass-through between taxation and the output. We have very, very low tax to GDP. So you have to go back to revenues. If you've borrowed, you've got to raise revenues, not just Naira revenues, dollar revenues from trade, from exports, from remittances, from FDIs, even from borrowings. Those are all going to be how you raise the foreign currencies to service that debt. Yeah.
So are we going to see an increase in government taxation or government collections from the people? Looking at the fact that right now we have record high national borrowing and national debt.
Of course.
Are we going to see the government probably increasing VAT, finally taking away the subsidy they say that they have on electricity? I hope you know how much we're paying for electricity in Nigeria, maybe more than what some of you in the other part of the world pay per kilowatt hour. And if you look at compare that with the minimum wage in the country or the average earning, it's unthinkable what we're paying. Are we going to see government come down harder some more to say come with a purse, to say give us more money?
Yeah, so that's what the tax reform is. Like I said, if you look at the tax reform on the personal level, in the past, once you work, the government gives you a 20% tax break. 20%. That forms you just take 20% of what you earn, essentially. That's gone in this new tax regime. Now, if you earn 800,000, that's it. So essentially, you can see that even though the tax rates have gone down, the who's going to pay the tax has increased because we no longer have the 20% consolidated tax relief anymore. So that's already in there. Your VAT will not go up next year. It's going to go up later on, but not next year. But overall, there's going to be a more aggressive footing for taxes in Nigeria. You don't have to increase the tax rate to increase taxes. If you take away the exemptions, you have also increased the tax rate. And taxes are the same as borrowing. It's the same principle. Tax, if you can't tax, you borrow, because taxation is what you use to pay back the borrowing. So when we borrow, when we have that deficit of 28 trillion, it's as if we have raised taxes by that amount. Because who's going to pay back those borrowings? Are the people.
All right. The president has christened the budget. I don't know why we. Did they do that in where you are? Do they christen budgets?
They do not.
Give them name.
They do not. No. They do 1 year cycle. No one has time to christen any budgets. You christen programs, you christen things. They have like Patriot, they do all that stuff, but the budget itself is too serious to christen.
Why should we christen them? I don't know. I don't know who started this trend. All the governors have
maybe
names.
The Cross River State governor.
No, he was really dramatic. You know, a budget of quantum finitum or something like that.
Something.
I don't know. But anyway, we miss him though with all the theatrics. So President Tinubu has christened the budget, budget of consolidation, renewed resilience, and shared prosperity. I don't know why we do this. And the opposition ADC impressing me for the first time, not because they're against government, but because they're playing their role critically and objectively. They say they have put together some economists, and the economists analyzed the budget. And from the result the economists, ADC's economists gave them, they say the budget is rather a budget of quicksand, debt, and wishful thinking. Another paper said the budget is a budget of quicksand, fiscal recklessness. When you hear the budget being described by what is now the leading opposition party in Nigeria, in terms of division or unity, when you hear them say the budget is a budget of quicksand, fiscal recklessness, of debt, what do you think they're talking about, and do you agree with them?
Yeah, they're talking really about the debt trap. There's a debt trap in the budget, because if oil prices go to say 50, we're in serious trouble. The deficit, like I said, the deficit in 2026 is almost the exact amount we spent in 2023. Think about that. We're now spending about 50 trillion more. But the deficit, what we are going to borrow, is almost what we spend per capita recurrent debt service in 2023. What happened from 23 25? So that's what they're talking about. The quicksand is they're going to get into a debt trap. You can't get out of it. Well, the question I have for them is this: where is their alternative budget? If you're in the opposition, you bring out your own budget. If you look at the UK House, the Conservatives have their budget and economic plans. Same with the Democrats, they have their own plans. You have to give Nigerians an alternative budget and say, okay, this is how we're going to do it. We're going to not take our subsidy. We're going to peg now. So we then compare like for like. You can't just sit down and critique. You're not me. You're a political party. You've got to give us something else that we can use.
All right. That's very, very, very interesting and so true. So the opposition parties need to wake up and also do a critical, job that they have to do, not just to criticize the government for criticism's sake. 0201 277 0993, 0201 277 0993. Please call that number. We also have 0201 465 7190. And you can also, drop your comments on WhatsApp. We're not taking calls on WhatsApp or voice notes, but, just your comments. 08095975805 for your WhatsApp messages. We're streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. You can drop your comments there as well. Kalu, do you see anything positive? Are there any positives that you have taken from this budget that you believe Nigerians should be positive about?
Yeah, well, the reforms are ongoing. The subsidy removal, I like that. The pegging of the dollars from the naira, I like that. Those reforms are ongoing, but the problem is consumption. They want to spend a lot of money. Let's hope the spending goes down to the grassroots so that consumption is reflated. The problem in Nigeria's economy is there's no consumption. So there's a lot of money being spent. I hope it to get to the grassroots. There's also some money being spent in education. That's also very, very good. And also the military is going to get a revamp. Fantastic, because military now can fight the insurgency and we can get food prices lower, which means inflation falls. Because inflation now is not a national security issue, not just a monetary issue. So those are the green shoots. But everything is just clouding me when I look at the spending and the oil prices. Listen, oil prices are 60, Brent 60. Why is it at 60? Because Ukraine and Russia are talking peace. If there is peace between Ukraine and Russia in 2026, oil prices go to 55. That kills the Nigerian economy because we're already putting 64 in our budget. At 55, you're going to get half of that because you're going to share with the JVs. Where do we get the money then to run the economy? We're already carrying over two budgets. We're carrying 24 budget, 2025 budget. Where do we then get the money? This is the problem. We've got to do an austerity budget today and not wait for oil prices to crash. The total budget you're talking about
is that possible? Is that possible?
Of course, it's possible.
So why are they not doing it? If the aim is to protect the Nigerian economy, why are they not doing it?
Because all these projects I'm spending are political projects. If you're building a road from Sokoto to Badagry, that's spending. That's the deficit. Coastal road, that's the deficit. So all these deficits are being funded by expected sales of crude oil. And I'm giving you if Brent is 60, 3 years ago, Brent was nearly 100 or so. When Goodluck was in power, Brent was about 70, 80, 90 and all that. So you've got to look at the economy and say what's going to happen. Venezuela is what's keeping oil prices up. Tension in Venezuela. If Venezuela is off the table, right, and the Ukraine and Russia have peace, it's only Iran that's going to be a hotspot that has oil, and we're already dealing with that without Iran. So oil prices crash, which is what the President Trump wants. Oil prices to crash. Then what? Then what do we do? We haven't developed the economy. Cocoa is our number one exporter. Oil. How much barrel of cocoa do we export? Same with the cashew nuts. That's what we do in Nigeria. Cashew nuts and cocoa. And of course the remittances that we get from the Nigerians are sending money abroad. That's what's keeping Naira afloat. The remittances. We are keeping the Naira afloat also with foreign portfolio investment, which can leave. Not foreign direct investment, which can stay.
Well, we're seeing increased investment in the oil and gas sector, especially with the offshore, activity.
That's a given. Everywhere you have oil, you have investors. There's oil. Mozambique has got ISIS, and they've got oil investors going to Mozambique. Anyway, you can't brag with I have investors in oil and gas. There's no brag there. Anywhere you have oil and gas, there are investors there. What you want to brag about is I have cotton and I have investors. I have cashew, I have investors. I have Davido and Wizkid, and I'm exporting that music and I'm getting revenue. That's what you want to brag about, not oil and gas. It's good, but there's no work. There's nothing there. We're not adding any value there, really.
All right, someone sent in, and we can take your calls now. For those of you listening, how do you think this budget will impact your own personal economy? Are you optimistic? Do you think that this budget will actually improve your daily life, in terms of jobs, health, fuel prices, electricity, or school fees? In President Tinubu's words, this is what he said, quote, "These numbers are not simply accounting lines. They are a statement of national priorities on security, on infrastructure, on human capital." So if you're listening, you want to answer that, please feel free to call in. Should more money go to the other areas, maybe like security, should we be looking at jobs and welfare? Because, we're seeing record amounts of money being devoted to security. All right, and this is something that we hear, security is getting the lion's share. Under this budget proposal, security is receiving 5.41 trillion naira. Okay, and this, of course, probably looking at emphasizing the importance of addressing Nigeria's security challenges. And it's reported that if this is approved, defense and security would have cumulatively gobbled 19.91 trillion naira in the last 6 years. All right, We look at other sectors, for instance, apart from security, with an allocation of infrastructure followed security with the next highest allocation of 3.56 trillion naira. Education received 3.52 trillion naira. Health was allocated 2.48 trillion naira. Okay. And we have another one. The fact that besides the 5.41 trillion 2026 allocation for the defense sector, records are also showing that over 14.5 trillion naira has been allocated to the security sector in the past 5 years because of the sustained efforts to improve Nigeria's national security. So, Kalu, are you okay? We have a caller coming through. I want him to tell us or her if he wants to see more spending in areas other than security, which is taking the lion's share. 99.3.
Good morning, Kofi.
Welcome. Your name, location, and calibration, please.
My name is Femi, calling from Elegushi. Right. My question to your guest is this morning is this: the mining in the north, how does it contribute to the GDP of Nigeria? Because all we are talking about now is oil from the south, from the west, from the east. But we are not talking about the gold mining in the north. Because the gold mining in the north should also contribute the same way oil is contributing. Therefore, our IGP will be able to grow. GDP. So you should tell us whether the north is paying tax on the gold mining.
Thank you. All right. When it said IGP, I got started for a second. They also want GDP. Yeah. That's a very important question, Kalu.
Yeah, great question. So yes, he's right that the GDP, the solid minerals should contribute. But I would tell you that solid minerals make less than a bank does in Lagos, total for the year. I don't think the solid minerals in Nigeria are making up to 200 billion a whole year.
Is that the real revenue? On paper?
You cannot mine when there's insecurity. The gold in Zamfara, who's going to mine in Zamfara? It's been mined, but it's not going to FARC. It's been stolen by the insurgency. That's what's going on. All this stuff you see bandits, it's just a cover to mine gold in Zamfara and Kebbi. That's why gold is there. So if we cannot have security over those lands to then mine the gold, look at Ghana. Ghana had the worst economy. They had a recession. Ghana took their gold reserves, converted the cedis to dollars. They took cedis, bought gold bars, then took the gold bars to the Central Bank of Ghana. The cedi went up in value. The cedi went from zero to the best performing currency in the entire world, Ghana. That's why Ghana has recovered, because they've been selling gold at record prices. Nigeria has got gold, Zamfara, Kebbi, Oshun. How much are we selling? I saw the last report of us selling something million to Switzerland. That's nothing, it's a pittance. So the caller is completely right. We've got to get those solid minerals, not just gold, iron ore, lithium, all over the place, uranium. We have everything here, but you don't see solid minerals showing up in the revenue side.
What about nationalizing Nigeria's oil and gas assets and saying, no, we're not doing any joint ventures again?
Yeah, then to just die off. To go like Nigerian Airways or Nigerian Shipping Line or Nigerian Football Federation.
Because if you keep 100% of the oil that you get from your
it will just die.
It can't be run by the government, right?
Incapable of running. I mean, LLNG and NNPC, what's the difference? Nigerian government owns 49% of LLNG. That's why it's successful. They own 100% of NNPC. That's why it's not successul.
All right. But if that were to happen successfully, what would the results be for Nigeria's economy?
It can't happen successfully.
I said if, Kalu. Scenario here. If it was, if
share this with your guest.
Okay, we have a call.
Even I, when I was outside the country, took advantage of charitable giving, and I know the impact it had on my taxes. I got huge and significant tax rebate. Now, juxtapose it to Nigeria. Take, for instance, USAID has stopped funding our HIV/AIDS program, and the numbers, the stats are not looking good. They're already inching upwards. That is in health. Is there a possibility? Is there something in our taxes where they empower institutions and individuals to give to society in exchange for tax rebates? That's just using one case study.
Okay.
We need to copy correctly, because taxes is not intrinsic to Nigeria. It's something we copied. Let's copy wisely and correctly. to positively impact on our pocketbooks. Thank you.
Kenny, thank you. Good to hear from you. Kalu, we need to go. In one sentence, a final word from you.
Yeah, I'm going to watch and spend right. Cut down. Austerity is one word for me. Austerity. Google that word. That's what Nigeria needs right now.
All right. Well, austerity means you buy a new presidential jet. It means you buy a retinue of new cars and build the vice president. Let's leave it at that. Kalu, Aja, it's great having you, a financial analyst. We want to invite you back. Maybe pair you with someone, and we do a sector by sector analysis. Is that fine?
We'll think about it. We'll talk to my.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Have a fantastic day. Good night.
Have a good one, sir.
Good night.
You take care.
All right.
Update. Here's the gist. New Good Mama detergent delivers express cleaning and fragrance boosters for extra freshness. All in a freshening pack made for your upgrade. Try it today. There's a reason she's a good mama.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.